Hello there, everyone. Thanks for joining me once again. And today's fly is another wet fly from my book, Bergman's Trout. And this guy is called the Dr. Burke. As you can see, it's quite a colorful fly with the yellow and white duck quill and silver. It's definitely an attractor pattern. So, thought you might like to see this one tied up. So, I'll get him out of the vise, a fresh hook in, we'll get started here. Okay, the hook is a Mustad 3906B on a size 10 here. So I'll get that locked down in the vise for starters. Okay, and the thread today is Danville 6/0 black. So we're going to start our thread base on. Go to hook eye length behind the eye and work back here. Get a good base laid down. Okay, snip off our tag end, and we'll come back a little farther here. Okay, now the tail on this fly is a peacock sword, and I'll put about 3 or 4 strands in here on this guy. Okay, just gotta clip them off here. Alrighty. Okay, tie that in for the tail here. And I want the tail to be about hook shank length, or even a little longer won't hurt. So switch hands. Tie that on top with a pinch wrap. Just like so there. Alrighty. There's our tail. Okay, so I'm going to clip that sword material to where I want my body to end. Alrighty, now the rib on the fly is some small silver some fine oval silver tinsel. So I'm going to tie that underneath this time, right on the bottom of the hook here. That's where I'm going to catch it in. And just be careful of your hook point here. I'm going to pull that to the length, same length as the peacock sword. Okay, and we'll bind that in good. Okay, stick that in the material clip there. Now I want to wind all these materials down here and try to keep a smooth base of thread. So we're going to wrap a tinsel body on this guy. Okay. Smooth as you can anyway. Alrighty, there we go. Okay, so now I got some small size 12 mylar tinsel here. It's golden one side, silver on the other. We want the silver side to show, so I'll tie that side facing down here. And we'll tie that in here. Alright, now we're going to begin to wrap rearward towards the tail first. Touching wraps. Just like so here. And we got one more to go, and then we'll start back up again. Okay, now we're going to wrap forward again towards the eye this time. Touching wraps once again. Trying to keep the body as smooth as possible. And we'll come around and tie that off on the top here. Alrighty. There we go. Fold it back, then we'll snip that out. Turn my vise. It wants to stay up there for me. Alrighty. Okay, there's the flat silver tinsel body. I'll throw in a few more securing wraps. And a little 1/2 inch knot as well here, just to save our work. Okay. And get a few more wraps there. There we go. Alright, so now we're going to take our silver oval tinsel here, and we're going to begin to rib the fly out. And usually 4 to 5 wraps is what you end up with here on these guys. So that's 5, then we'll come up around, tie that on top. Get a snug wrap there to start. Okay, and we'll come in with a couple more wraps. And I'm just going to snip this little guy out of here. Just like so. Okay. Now I want to smooth that out a little bit and get a smooth base down there before I tie in the throat hackle. And for the throat hackle, it is some schlappen fibers, some yellow schlappen. And what I did was take a little section from each side of the hackle and put them together. So we end up with a pretty thick throat on this guy, as you can see. And we want that to come to the hook point or a little bit past, and we'll bring that up with a pinch wrap between my fingers and wrap forward nice and tight. Alright, there's our throat. And I'm going to come in over so carefully here and hold that thread out of my way with my finger so I don't cut my thread. Snip out our excess. Alrighty. Just want that a little bit tighter cut than that. Alright, that's fine. Okay, now let's bind that throat down nice and tight. Now another key is we want to get a nice smooth base here on top before we apply our duck quill wing without too many wraps. Alright, so there we have it. Our tail, the body, and the throat are tied in, and now comes the wing. And this is what a lot of you may find tricky, but duck quills are definitely not the easiest material to work with. It just takes practice. I've been doing them for a long time now, and I'm still not the best, that's for sure. Okay, we're going to try to line our duck quills up here as evenly as we possibly can. That sometimes can take a little bit of time, but we'll get it. We want a half decent looking wing. And we want the wing to come back about halfway on the tail. It's usually the rule of thumb here. So, alright, we're going to come up around with a pinch wrap, pull down, then I'm going to come straight up on that guy, and a few wraps ahead. There we go. There's our wing, and it looks good to me. It's right on top. Okay, that looks fine. Okie dokie. Okay, so now I'll lift up on the butt ends there and trim those on an angle, sort of snip those out. Don't mean to block your view there, people. Sorry about that. Alright, so there's where we're at now. Just gonna make sure my wing stayed good and straight. Okay, now I forgot to mention that the pattern in the book called for jungle cockeye on each side of the wing here, each side of your duck quill. So if you have that, surely put it in. I just don't have any at the moment, so I had to admit that part. But okay, so now what we'll do, like I generally do, is take a little bit of head cement here before I tie down my wing, and we're going to put a little drop there on those wing butts there. Alrighty, there we go. Okay, so now I'm going to begin to build the head up here, just like so. Alrighty. It's looking pretty good, folks. Alright, now last step is going to be our whip finish here. And before I do that, I'm going to flatten that thread out a little bit, so I'm going to spin it out counterclockwise. Just helps to get a smoother hit on the fly. Alright, I'm going to bring in my whip finisher. And we'll do our whip finish and finish them off here. Okay. One little tip I want to give you when doing duck quill wings, I forgot to mention as I was tying them in, is once you do that pinch loop and you come down on your wing, you start to wrap. One thing you don't want to do is wrap rearward when you make your wraps, because that will 99% of the time split the wings on you. So when you tie that down, when you make your next wraps, always want to make sure you wrap forward towards the hook eye, and that'll save your wings. Just a little tip I thought I'd throw in there, I forgot to mention. Okay, we'll snip off this excess thread here. One last step. Like always, I'm going to put a little bit of Solares bone dry on my thread wraps to finish them off. Alrighty here. Okay. Okay. Just a tad bit more there on this side. Alright, that should be plenty. Now we'll carry him out with the light here. Okay, folks. And the wing turned out really good on this guy, so. Alright. There we have it. Another size 8 Dr. Burke. Another fly from the book, Bergman's Trout book that I have. And I'll probably do another one in the future if I have the materials to tie them up. So, like always, I want to thank you all for watching once again. And I hope you enjoy these type of flies. And if you do, just leave some comments down below. I'd like to read all the comments that I can get. And until next time, everyone, happy tying out there, and I'll see you all again soon. So long for now, folks.